perfectly caramel skin, and I also married her credit score.
Her good credit score.
I was gonna get to that. What's up, everybody? I'm Julian.
And I am Casey.
That's different. McClurkin. We want to welcome you to our channel. Today's episode is very important for couples who are thinking about getting married.
And people who are already married. It's no secret that money is like the #1 cause of divorce in America, and consequently the divorce rate is very high here. I think it's around 50%, which is not great odds if you're a betting person. So we wanted to just share some tips that were helpful to us while we were engaged as far as preparing for financial success, as well as things that we would advise couples to do after they get married.
Now remember, romance without finance is a nuisance. That's what somebody told us a long time ago.
And it's true.
So what we're gonna give you is our top 3 things you wanna do before you get married, and our top 3 things you wanna do after you're married, probably within the first year.
The first thing you want to do while you're engaged and thinking about getting married is to know how much debt you have. Mm-hmm. You wanna know what you're bringing into the marriage, because when you have debt, you're automatically taking money away from what you could be saving, you're taking away from what you could be investing, and you need to be able to tell your future spouse where you've been and what you plan to do about it. So you need to get student loans, credit cards, car loans, in-store credit cards. If you already own a house before you get married, you've got mortgage debt, maybe you have personal loans or other lines of credit out there. You need to get it all together, jot it all down, and give them the big number, no matter how many figures it is, because in marriage you've got to have transparency. Yes. And you're going to need your future spouse to help you tackle that debt.
Number 2, when that person gets down on their knees and they propose to you, or when you're thinking about proposing to somebody else, what you want to do is you want to have some big conversations. One conversation you're going to want to have is, what is your credit score? Because guess what? Not only did I marry this beautiful woman beside me, I married her beauty, her natural hair, her perfectly caramel skin, and I also married her credit score.
Her good credit score.
I was gonna get to that. It was above average. Mine was not quite what it should have been, but I learned a lot by asking those kind of questions. Somebody advised us that we should ask each other what our credit score is before we got married, and when we had that conversation, it showed me hers was way better at the time than mine. It showed me that I had a lot of work to do. They can hear you. You don't have to listen. You want to know the other person's credit score, okay?
Your credit score is not a mark of your worth. Mm-mm. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't get with someone with a lower credit score than yours, or one that's below average. It just means that they've got some things in their past that they need to work on. Mm-hmm. And if you're the one with a higher score, you might be able to help them with that. A lot of things go into your credit score: how long you've had debt, how much debt you have compared to your income, have you missed payments, all that kind of stuff factors in. So just because your credit score is low, it doesn't mean you're a bad person or irresponsible. It just, everyone's had a few hiccups, or maybe you just haven't had credit long enough for it to build.
Yeah, but it does show you some signs.
It paints a picture.
Yeah. All right, number 3.
Number 3 is you want to talk about some of your financial goals. A good way to get that conversation going is to talk about financial examples you had in your life, whether it's your parents had a hard time putting food on the table, or maybe your grandfather has owned his house for 30 years. People like that maybe you have an investor friend and you really admire what they've been able to accomplish in their life. You need to talk about good examples, not so good examples, and then from that you can kind of formulate some goals that the two of you want to pursue together. Mm-hmm. and you want to make sure that those goals align. If you have one person who is like a rainy day fund person and they just want to save, and you want to maybe take some risks and invest in mobile homes, whatever your cup of tea is, you guys are gonna have to get on the same page, because you've got 2 completely different financial objectives.
And go out there, really dream. What is the best case scenario? If
there's
money,
no harm in that.
Yeah, if money was not an object, what is it that you see yourself doing in the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years?
Maybe you want to be that guy who paid off all the debt for all those Morehouse students. Maybe that's a goal that you have. That's perfectly fine. And it's big, it's lofty. There's this thing about big, hairy, audacious goals. It's okay to dream and put that kind of objective before you, because you never know how close you may get to it.
Yeah, don't forget to dream. All right, now here are our 3 points for after you get married. You want to try to have these conversations or implement these things within about the first year. Starting with number 1, consider what type of accounts you want to have. When Casey and I first started out, we had a semi-joint account, meaning some of our money went into the same account and some of our money went to us personally. We were trying to find the best mix of things. One thing I noticed was as soon as I got married and I started putting money into that joint account, I went to McDonald's a lot less. Like, I would go and get fast food a lot less because I'm like, oh man, somebody else is looking at this now. You know, somebody's worried about the money that I'm spending now, and they see every single thing that I do. I realized that, and about 2 years later, Casey and I got one single joint account to where all of our money goes into the same account. Because what I noticed is that money that I stopped spending because I knew somebody else was watching it, we started saving it even more, and it would build and build and build. In fact, look at this video of how we were able to save a lot of money when we first found out that we were pregnant. We went into savings mode. It is amazing what you guys can do together, because you have to realize you are getting married, and the Bible says that the two shall become one. So you guys can now build that together, and that wealth can start to build together.
If one can chase 1,000, two can chase $10,000. Number 2, I would really, really encourage married couples to research the different types of investments that are out there. One thing that you want to figure out is how to grow your money quickly, and there's no better way to do that than investments. You can save and save and save, but really you will only ever save as much as you make. But investments allow you to multiply that money and maximize it down the road. So you've got retirement investments. I mean, there's life insurance policies that are sold to you as investments. They're not the best investments, but there's mutual funds, there's annuities, there's all kinds of things out there.
Oh, and my favorite, real estate.
There's real estate. There's so many different things that you can get into to really grow your money fast. Once you do figure out what those goals are, you will probably be very eager to reach them, and investing is a great way to do that. And you can start small. You don't have to gamble 20-30 grand on something or buy some fixer-upper in the worst part of town. You can start with something small. Yeah. But you just have to do your research and see what's out there.
Study to show thyself approved. All right, our last and final tip for after you get married is to trust the other person. The other person is gonna have dreams and goals, and you have to learn how to support that other person in their dreams and in their aspirations as well. Casey has done a phenomenal job, not just trusting me, but also pushing me towards my dreams and challenging me along the way. If I bring her an investment property, you know, she'll look at it with me, and she has to know the numbers and wants to know exactly, all right, this is how much it's gonna cost, this is how much we're gonna make, this is the holding cost. She's gonna wanna know all these little details, and I have to be able to effectively communicate that, and that'll be like 3.5. Communication throughout all of this. You gotta be able to talk to each other. In order to trust somebody, they gotta be able to effectively communicate with you what it is that their plans and their goals are. So you guys gotta trust each other.
And also know that the person that you married is not out to sell you up a creek, and you're not gonna come home one day because they sold all the furniture or something like that. So it is something that I think just grows over time. I'm one of those people, I check the accounts every day, and I will call you out like, what is this? You went to McDonald's, what is this? What'd you get at Walmart? Or what, you know? I find myself doing that less and less these days. The money's there, we're achieving our goals, we're setting aside what we want to set aside, and everything is working out very nicely for us. It all does come from trust. I don't get down with every investment, but initially I didn't get down with any investments. Exactly. So I'm growing.
Taking baby steps. Baby step. Ultimately, y'all, we would be remiss if we didn't mention that above all, it really helps to have God in your relationship.
We pay our tithes faithfully, and that's not something that we're boasting about. It's just something that we have made a priority. We do not miss, we don't short God not a dollar, and we really believe that he is helping us along the way and honoring our commitment that we make to him and that percentage of our finances. And tithe your gross income.
Yes.
Stop doing that net pay after you get your HSA money taken out.
If you gross God, God will gross you. If you net God, he gonna net you too. All right.
Or he might gross you because he's merciful and gracious. But
that's true.
Really, we really have challenged ourselves to do that. And there are times when we're not always working. The income is not always the same all the time. It fluctuates a lot just because of the nature of his profession. Things are always changing.
Ultimately, the Bible says, I once was young and now am I old, and never have I seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. So I want you to know, and I want to encourage young couples, old couples, middle-aged couples, seasoned couples, as long as you put your trust in the Lord, he will take care of all of your financial decisions that you have to make down the line. You got to put him first, and place that above everything else. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this helpful and you want to hear more financial advice, because there's really a lot of things that we've learned in our years while being married, go ahead and put in the comments below what you want us to talk about. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. In fact, to subscribe to this channel, all you got to do is click right here.
To see some of our other videos, click right here.
That's all we got for you guys. Okay, bye.
Bye.